My name is Laurence Sillars. I'm head of the Henry Moore Institute and the curator of the exhibition Fragment and Form. So the exhibition Fragment and Form is anchored by the relationship between myth and meaning and materials in sculpture. It's quite easy to assume that the material sculptors use to make are neutral or just a means to an end. That is very rarely the case. And materials, whatever they are, so often come layered and embedded with meaning, be it to do with power or monument or religion, or in this case, history. And Fragment and Form as an exhibition showcases the work of 3 artists who each interrogate histories, its representations, and its slipperiness. Huge array of materials used throughout the exhibition, from steel and iron to driftwood and rope that's actually lived in the sea for many years, to found materials that bring with them an inherent history. So this is Wallow's Brace, a new work by Emii Alrai. It's a vessel that opens the exhibition, and it's a broken vessel. So it's something that has a sense of the weight of history, but it's already crumbling, it's been destroyed, or is it being conserved? And a lot of her work considers the language of the museum, both as a kind of physical entity. It's actually mounted on a wall that controls our behaviour and pushes us into the exhibition space, but also about conservation and care and the political ambiguities around those things. It's in an oversized, quite a grandiose metal armature that supports it, but you could also say that it's capturing it. It's in a cage, and it's far too big for its purpose. So it's something not comedic, but it's exaggerated to draw attention to it. It looks real, but it's actually a fabrication. So there's lots of consideration of mimicry in her work.
Replicas are really interesting because I think to make an object that's a replica, it's yearning for something else. I think this idea of yearning, I think, is very interesting to me too within the realms of the work. It's about, making things that long to be somewhere else. They long to be part of a ruin, perhaps, but they become almost like a parody in many ways, but at the same time, they also kind of still occupy the space where they become valuable objects too.
Mónica Mays' sculptural installations often combined organic materials with found objects that have a historical connection. Her works really explore care, but also systems of control. This sculpture is called Without Ornamental Value, and it sits on this found school desk, a desk that is covered in graffiti from generations of people that sat in it, kind of embedded with a whole new layer of history and vulnerability. But there's something extraordinarily bodily about it. It's balanced, it's poised, it's vulnerable, but it also has an inherent strength.
I like that something can be both violent and fragile. I think this has to do a lot with the processes and logics of the world at the moment, being too massive to understand. A lot of things that impact systemically and traverse bodies and condition them are invisible processes. They're things that are everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Dominique White's work often evokes the wreckages of sunken ships or sea creatures, but also alludes to the mechanisms of the nation state, those controlling forces that ensure borders and division, and the things that really dictate our movement and our identities. Her materials can vary from kaolin clay to mahogany to iron, and rust is actually a really important element. And a lot of her works have actually lived, or the materials have lived in the sea before they're fabricated. Sometimes she even returns sculptures to the sea.
It's like an exploration of the unknown of the sea. I want there to be the sensation that they're almost like moving when you're not looking. As if everything has kind of frozen when you've entered the room and you've interrupted an event and you don't quite understand what the event is, whether these creatures or entities are like trying to escape the room, whether they're trying to consume each other or whether they're trying to consume you when you're not looking.
It's an exhibition that's so full of history and myth and legend and story and imagination and the slipperiness of all of those things. ultimately it's also an incredibly creative exhibition and just shows what you can make with this astonishing array of materials.